What's up, party people? We are back, and Merry Christmas. Now, I'm recording this on the 23rd. Now, by the time it comes out, it might be after Christmas, so I apologize. But it's close enough, so we'll celebrate today. Finished another short story. Finished also Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, which I think I make a separate video on that one. Otherwise, yeah, lots of stuff on the go. I've got quite a few books that are like halfway done. I'm going to try to finish before the new year, so I can do a nice little New Year's wrap-up video. Otherwise, yeah, that's kind of what's up. One quick thing as well. I know it's kind of before Christmas, but I'm going away to my grandparents' place for the actual Christmas day. So my roommates and I exchanged gifts today. And I know I said I was trying to dress nicer for the channel, but I got a shirt for my roommate, and I had to show it to you guys. So on the front, it's got like a little book, and I don't know if you can see this, but on the back, it says, "Ask me what I'm reading," or something like that. So it's a little bit of a book theme thing, so I thought it was cool. But one thing that I did realize is that most people that like read books are probably introverted and don't want people talking with them. So it's kind of like a oxymoron, or like a paradox. That's not right. It's kind of contradictory, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, but yeah, let's get started on the stack. So I tried to arrange it semi-chronologically today. Up first we have The Secret History of the Mongols. Now, I don't know too much about this. I know it's about the life of Genghis Khan. It was written around the 1200s. Now, when did Genghis Khan live? Obviously before that. How before that? I'm not sure. Maybe the year 1000? 1100? Something like that. Anyways, little tidbit for you is that apparently around 8% of men in Asia have the Y chromosome from Genghis Khan. Which makes sense, because he conquered a lot of stuff, and he got around. That's the appropriate way to say that. So anyways, yeah, 8%, that's a lot. But that's kind of a flex, right? If you have Genghis Khan DNA, because he was a savage. So yeah, pretty cool. Next up, we have some Tolstoy. Now I already have his two main works, which are War and Peace and Anna Karenina, but here I have his short stories. Well, not all of them, but The Devil and a few others. So apparently they span his life, so they aren't like all collected from like a few year period. They kind of span his entire career, and I don't really know too much about any of the stories in here. Oh, here's an old bookmark. But yeah, looking forward to reading that eventually. Because I've been trying to write short stories, I think in the new year I might just like not start any new novels and just read short story compilations by like classic authors. Just kind of get a better sense of what's out there, you know? So yeah, maybe that's on the list soon. Next up we have somebody, actually I lied about it being chronological, because this guy came before Tolstoy and was one of his influences, and that is Nikolai Gogol. Gogol? I don't know if I'm saying that quite right. Anyways, this guy, I couldn't figure out exactly if he was Ukrainian or Russian, because I think at this time, like beginning of the 19th century, Russia like had a larger empire, and the landmass kind of covered what is nowadays Ukraine. So I don't want to get into geopolitics too much, okay? It's some sensitive territory. But anyways, yeah, he has this novel here, Dead Souls. It was his last novel. And something interesting about this one is it ends mid-sentence. And I think that's intentional. The author did that on purpose. So kind of interesting there. I don't think you see that too often. Something else as well is it was meant to be part of a 3-volume set. He never finished the third one, and the second one he burned right before he died. So that's kind of mysterious, I guess, yeah. Next up, we've got one of the Bronte sisters, Bronte, and that is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. Now this one was kind of an instant success when it was published, and it's about a lady who leaves her alcoholic husband with the kid and hides in this like old mansion, I guess, and makes money like as an artist, and then falls in love, of course, with somebody else. And yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it sounds good. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. Next up, we've got one of these small canvas hardcovers, and that is Bernard Shaw's The Devil's Disciple. Now, I think this is one of his first commercial successes as a playwright, and I don't know too much about it other than There's this kind of outlaw, outcast type guy who gets into a whole bunch of trouble and that yet dies heroically saving somebody else. So yeah, and it's kind of I'm not sure exactly how old this book is, but I don't mean the manuscript. I mean the actual physical book. It looks like it's from 1911, which is pretty old. Yeah, cool. I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I love the typesetting in these old books. It's just the font and the margins are thick, and yeah, anyways. Next up we have E.M. Forster's A Room with a View. Now he's also famous for writing A Passage to India, which I do have on the shelf. Now this is his other famous work, A Room with a View, and apparently it's about some English girls who go abroad and get mad because their room in the hotel doesn't have a good view. I don't really know. But yeah, E.M. Forster, he was nominated for the Nobel Prize in Literature 22 separate times. That is a lot. Now, one thing I forgot to mention actually is Tolstoy earlier. Tolstoy was also nominated, but he never won it, even though he's considered like kind of the GOAT, the greatest of all time of Russian literature, and kind of controversial that he doesn't have a Nobel Prize. Anyways, he was nominated 22 separate times, and yeah, Room with a View. Also, one more thing about this book. He has like a 4-page addendum at the end called A Room Without a View. So he had a sense of humor. Next up we have George Orwell's The Road to Wigan Pier, and this one is not funny. It's about the first half anyways is about the working conditions of the lives of Industrial Revolution English people, which is quite terrible. They didn't really have like human rights, workers' rights sort of thing back then. And then the second half is his reflections on socialism. Now, he's a critic of socialism, but he's also sympathetic towards it. So he kind of has a more nuanced view, which is interesting. Also, he has a bunch of illustrations or photographs halfway through. Are they photographs? Yeah, they had cameras back then. Yeah, so photographs of some of the conditions of these working class people. So, yeah, interesting find. Penultimately, we have Albert Camus's The Myth of Sisyphus, which is probably one of his most famous works, alongside The Stranger, probably. Now, of course, this has one of his most famous lines in it, which is, "We must imagine Sisyphus happy." And that's because Albert Camus was kind of the pioneer of what is known as absurdism, which is the idea, it's very sympathetic to nihilism. It's the idea that life is fundamentally absurd. And so, yeah, I'm not exactly sure where he goes with that, because I haven't read it. But I thought this was a novel, but it's not. It's an essay. So, yeah. What would you consider this? Classic literature? Philosophy? I don't know. I guess that'll depend where I put it on the shelf. Lastly, but not leastly, we have Evelyn Waugh's Brideshead Revisited, which also looks like it could be pronounced Brideshead. But who would do that? That's stupid. Why would I say that? Anyways, Brideshead Revisited. Apparently this was adapted a couple times quite successfully, and it's his most famous work. Don't know too much exactly what it's about, but yeah, happy to find that one because it was conspicuously missing from the other like 10 Waugh books that I bought. So yeah. Lastly, let's just talk about Flannery O'Connor. This week I read The River, and this one was good, but again, not the best one I've read, but it's still good. So the way The River goes is there's this kid named Harry. He's 4 or 5. He's kind of like abusive parents, not abusive, but like negligent. Like his parents like have parties and like drink and get hungover and like don't really take care of him. And then they pay this babysitter to come pick him up. Now the babysitter, I think has a bunch of other kids at her house or babysits other kids, not really too sure. So Harry gets picked up, and the babysitter is like a very, I'm not sure what you would call it at that time. Not Pentecostal, but like kind of revivalist Christian. So she takes all the kids that day that she's babysitting to go see this like this preacher, the wandering preacher, I guess, and he's preaching on that particular day in this river. And anyways, the people go to him to kind of get healed, and while he's there, or while Harry is brought to the preacher, whose name is Bevel, he is taken by the preacher and baptized in the river. And after he comes up out of the water, Bevel, the preacher, tells him that, hey, Harry, you count now. You count. And that's very encouraging to him, and he gets dropped off at home at the end of the day, but his parents are still negligent and still kind of just party and don't really take care of him. So he's kind of confused, right, because he was told by the preacher after being baptized that he counts, but he doesn't experience that in his day-to-day life. And so the next day, his parents are hungover and sleeping in till like 1 o'clock, so he's just lounging around the house, like eating food out of the fridge, and then he has an idea, and he steals a little coin from his mom's purse, takes a cab back out to that same spot on the river, and he goes to baptize himself because he wants to go find the kingdom of God, which is what the preacher said. But he doesn't understand that the kingdom of God is not a real place, or a place you can go like in this life, I guess. So he's trying to like go there. And then one of the gas station attendants like sees him walking over there, and he kind of follows him, and he tries baptizing himself a bunch of times, but he keeps having to come up for air. So he's confused why he's not going anywhere. And then eventually he goes in, and the current takes him, and he's like, oh, I'm going somewhere. I must be going to the kingdom of God. And then the gas station attendant is like, what the heck? This kid's drowning himself. He tries to go in to catch him, but it's too late. The current takes him, and the kid kind of just drowns peacefully. And the gas station attendant comes up empty-handed. And yeah, it's a kind of a dark, bleak story. Flannery O'Connor likes to play with the ideas of like faith and kind of does so in like not a grotesque way, but kind of like in a way that's like sad and like unconventional. So anyways, it was good. I liked it. Some interesting ideas in there. Not my favorite. I think it's still competing with the turkey. What was the good one we read recently? It wasn't the turkey, it was something else. I don't remember. Anyways, I said it in one of the previous videos, but I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, but it was good. Now I'm just yapping. Okay, I'll end the video here. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.